We are here with some very, very, very special guests. Ginger's sister, both of our brother-in-law, Jill and Derick.
Last December was probably like our worst month in our family's history. And Jill was like, hey, something's got to change.
It got to where like I would be calling him at work and just a few times and be like, babe, like I need help, to the point where I was crying every single day. And he was stressed because he's like, I'm torn. Like I want to be there, but I don't feel like I can, like you were saying, take a step back. When everything falls apart, people will tell you, oh, you're so strong. And you're like, I don't feel it at all. We were managing, but it wasn't going to be sustainable.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Jinger and Jeremy podcast. And as you can see, we are not in our home studio because we're in Arkansas.
We're in somebody else's home.
Yes.
Not really, but...
And you know what that means when the podcast is on the road in Arkansas. We are here with some very, very, very special guests. Ginger's sister, both of our brother-in-law, Jill and Derick. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks.
Y'all.
Did you like your introduction as both of our brother-in-law?
Both of our brother-in-laws.
I was trying to follow you, but that makes sense.
I didn't think that through.
I was like, what does that even mean?
It's your sister, Jill.
Technically,
and both of our...
brothers, because I know
Yes,
there's
this is
slight-
true.
you're
There
my
is actually a
brother-in-law.
term for
Yes,
this.
so I would be Ginger's brother-in-law, but I would be
There is
your
a
co-brother.
term, co-brother.
What?
It's
Legit.
never, like co-parenting.
Derek lived in Nepal, and the Nepali / Indian culture has
Yes.
terms for everything, literally like first daughter, second daughter, for like everything,
Yeah.
like uncle buy this and whatever.
I think it went down to, in your family, everyone but Jordan. Like there was a name
Yeah,
for Joseph
like,
because
there's
she's the
names.
last one. But
Oh, they ran out of
They
terms?
ran out of
They're like, that
So
is
that co-brother, he
funny.
asked his coworker when he was working in the tax department at Walmart and all that, and and because
she was from India. I worked with a lady from India, and I asked her, so who would be the person who married my sister-in-law?
It was like when
My
Jess and
wife's
Ben were
sister.
getting married.
Yeah, it was when Jess and Ben were getting married, and I said, so there's a guy marrying my wife's sister. What would my relationship be to him, to Ben? And she's like, oh, in India, he would be your co-brother.
So there you go,
Well,
co-brothers.
Okay.
Your co-brothers.
Co-brother? Yeah. I don't know. Do we I don't know. Do we shake? I don't know.
Oh, you
what
do this.
happens. You do this, co-brother.
In America, you say, hey, bro, which is very appropriate because they've been saying,
Yeah.
hey, bro. Yeah.
That is so
yeah.
great.
Well, you learn something new every day, and I just learned that.
Sorry, that was a random.
That was fantastic. Welcome
So
to
great.
welcome to our podcast in your state.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's very cold.
It's very cold today.
Yeah.
25.
It was warmer
That's
yesterday.
insane.
It's colder today.
It was
I was
80
just
degrees
saying-
when we left.
I literally did not bring a coat. I did not bring jeans, which I was supposed to pack. So I had these like thin summer pants. Right.
You just forgot that it was December here, or just?
I just failed in my packing. I packed my kids this warm stuff. I
Hey,
got all their
your
coats.
kids are covered though.
Finn doesn't have a coat because he doesn't own one. But
Yeah,
I was like, I'm just going to
blankets.
borrow
Finn
one.
doesn't own a coat.
He doesn't have a coat.
Yeah, we were out last night, and we took the kids out
To the square.
downtown.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And
Oh, that's
Ginger
fun.
gets out with
so
just a sweatshirt on. I'm like, baby, where's your coat? She's like, I didn't bring a coat. I'm like, have you been out of Arkansas so
You were
long?
born
I don't
in
have
December.
like,
You
I
should-
think I have a couple proper like puffers.
Yeah.
But I didn't bring them. So like literally they were in storage buckets in the garage and I didn't go get them.
I'm
So
sure you
here
can
we are.
raid some closets around here.
Yeah.
I think so.
Goodwill.
Sorry,
Oh yeah,
morning voice.
she's back
Yeah.
in Goodwill Paradise.
There's a
This is,
Goodwill
maybe that
across
was
the
the
way.
excuse. Maybe that was the reason.
I did think my birthday's in a couple of days, so I was like, I'm gonna go shopping,
Shopping,
and I'm gonna get me
yes.
some stuff.
Is there no
So-
Goodwill in California?
Oh, there is. Yeah.
It is, but it's
You
like
have better
3 times
things, though.
more
You have, like-
expensive.
I've heard y'all have great thrifting.
We do have good thrifting. The only challenge is they know the brands. So like if you have a good brand, I found some things for like $20 and I'm like, we're at Goodwill. This is almost a Target brand. You could get it for cheaper at Target. So yeah, it's kind of a little annoying
Different.
sometimes, but
You know you're thrift shopping.
yep.
You get 2 Duggar girls together, and they'll start thrift talking in 5 minutes.
Yep.
It's gonna come. Goodwill's gonna
stop
come.
us.
Do it.
You really can't stop us.
Hey, so guys, it's been a long time since we've sat down for a conversation, probably a couple years, like the 4 of us in the same room. And I think it might, I mean, you guys are on social media and you guys are around, but life is busy. So for our listeners, low key for us, how are you guys doing? How's life? Take us into what life looks like for Jill and Derick and the kiddos these days?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us, babe. Remind me what I.
He's like, oh.
Are you sleep deprived, Derick?
Not too bad today. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So we have 3 children, Earthside here. We have, Derick is a practicing attorney.
Hence the sleep deprivation sometimes.
Yes. I am home with the kids. We've transitioned now to homeschooling. We live still in Arkansas, but we had moved. I know a lot of people were confused. They were thinking we moved to Oklahoma. Derick was working in Oklahoma for about 3 years as a prosecuting attorney over there.
Which is why we moved.
Which is why we moved to the
honestly,
border.
I was confused by that at points.
I
'cause
think
knew
Jeremy
it
was too, yeah.
border. I knew it was border, and I would always forget which side.
Yes.
I'm like, well, Jill and Derick are in Oklahoma. And Ginger's like, no,
No, they're not.
Arkansas.
I was
Yeah.
like, they're
And I'm
not.
like, but
He's right on the border,
Yeah.
working in Oklahoma. So we live in Arkansas. And it's nice because we're close-ish to Derick's family and our family.
And you can say that you don't live in Oklahoma.
And we can say we don't live in Oklahoma. So
neither of us have
there's
never
that.
lived. Have ever lived.
Well, you did just since not residency, but
I've never.
you went to school there and you have family
Yes,
there.
I've visited Oklahoma.
I like how he passionately disavows it, but you went to school there, right?
He did.
Yes.
My little running joke is, it's like my dad joke is, when I'm having a bad day, I just remember people actually live in Oklahoma.
There you
That's what
go.
he says.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We
But
make
you were
that joke
Crystal
too.
Peak, so you can't say
Stillwater's
that.
better than the rest of the state.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's its own
Stillwater, where
level.
you went to
Our listeners in Oklahoma just plummeted by the way.
Okay, hold on. Before we hate on Oklahoma, side note, Derick, tell us, you and your late father were Pistol Pete, right?
But real quick, sorry not to change again, but like Oklahoma City Thunder are the defending world champions
Oh,
in
this
NBA.
is true. This is true.
Sure.
The Thunder
So it's not
defending
bad.
NBA champions right now.
It's not
Yeah,
bad.
give us
And
some
they
credit.
just had their second loss this season.
Yes.
So clearly there's some Oklahoma passion.
We do have
in your
some
blood.
ties.
Yeah.
Derick
Yes.
was the mascot at Oklahoma State University.
We grew up going on vacations to
Yeah.
Oklahoma, which sounds
What do you
riveting.
do in Oklahoma on vacation?
You visit your grandparents and your aunts and your uncles.
Yeah.
And I got a tour of a bank over spring break one time.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That's exciting. So they do have banks.
Anyway.
Yeah,
but
thanks.
Okay.
Yes.
Their
my
money
dad
at
and I
the
were both. My dad and I were both Pistol Pete's, so I was somewhat brainwashed into being a cowboy from birth. So.
And now our
That's
kids,
awesome.
between the 3 boys, we
All the bright
joked
orange.
that like there might be a 3-peat in there somewhere. We'll
That
see.
would be cute.
Yeah,
Oh, my
be the
goodness. I
first
hope
three-peat.
so. I really
And
hope
I were the
so.
first father-son, so.
We just took the boys to their first OSU doubleheader basketball game.
Yeah, which is in the
and
Thunder Stadium.
In the
so it
Thunder,
was full forum.
yeah,
Yeah.
in the arena there. So they really loved that. That was
Oh,
fun.
my goodness.
It was part of their surprise for the end of our trip.
We were supposed to be
Our-
coming to see Jinger and Jeremy, but we got the
know.
stomach bug and we were so sad.
That was so sad.
it was so
Oh, my
frustrating.
word.
But
I'm glad they were still
we're
able
gonna
to
make that
the game.
happen. Maybe.
Oh, you have to. You
Yeah.
have to.
We have had a really busy season. Going back to the original question, a really busy season of life. I mean, yeah, I feel like we did the whole law school thing together as a family.
Yeah, true.
And then you jump straight into your career with law and just a crazy season for the entire Duggar family as well.
Yeah.
That was very interesting parallel to the career you ended up jumping into. That was like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, on a professional note, it was very informative to go to Josh's trial. I don't know if we're gonna.
Right.
yeah,
that,
delve
but
into that
like-
too much, but yeah, it's just always awkward to like talk about all that. But
Yeah, but I mean, it's real and it
Yeah.
happened, and it's
Yeah.
difficult. It's a part of our history. And that did, I mean, I know you've spoken about this before. That was a bit of a motivation for you to get into law, wasn't it?
We want to take a break from this episode to tell you about Nutrafol.
At the start of every year, people are all about this like new year, new you kind of vibe. But what if you don't actually have to have something that's reinventing yourself? What if this new you is already happening because you're taking Nutrafol and slowly but surely you're seeing that hair that you've missed for some time come back?
Oh yeah. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people.
Yeah, their formulations are designed to target the key reasons for hair thinning, things like stress, hormones, nutrition, and aging. And it's all based on your life stage, including formulas tailored for postpartum and menopause.
Yes, I have their postpartum supplements and they're incredible. I actually have like all the baby hairs are finally growing
Yeah,
back
it's
now. Thank you, Nutrafol. And so
You can see thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code JandJ. That's JandJ. So find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code JandJ.
we want to take a break from this episode to tell you about Poncho.
All right, here's the deal. I'm wearing poncho. I wear poncho all the time.
Jeremy does wear poncho all the time. When he wakes up, I'm like, ooh, is that a poncho shirt?
I love it.
9 times out of 10.
Here's the test. Went to Arkansas over the break, and the homies in Arkansas were going, dude, nice shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, they were going, hey, is that poncho? Like Austin Forsyth was going, oh, you got a poncho shirt? The guys love it. So if you want to get your guy something he'll love, get him a gift card, get him a shirt, get him something poncho. You won't regret it.
And let me just say, as the person who does the laundry in the family, I like poncho shirts because they are made to last. They wash and wear super well. So I'm all about these shirts. I'm telling you, if you're looking for something to gift the
Valentine's
guy
Day
in your life,
Valentine's Day.
yeah, your dad, even for a birthday, gift him a poncho shirt.
Give him something he'll wear every day, even on date night. Go to ponchooutdoors.com. Use our code GINGER. That's Poncho Outdoors. Use code GINGER for $10 off and free shipping. And when they ask how you heard about them, tell them that we sent you from the podcast.
Now back to the episode.
Wanting to
Protect.
Protect, to know
victims.
law.
Yeah.
Did you just find that your mind worked that way? Like, because there's certain things like, I walk into an accountant's building and I will implode. Did you just find out, like, when you started to study law or look into things, you were like, oh man, this clicks for me. And like, this is.
For me, I had like a passion for something and I needed it to be an informed passion. So like I've said before, like I wanted to, like you have this energy in you and you want to do something about it.
Yeah.
Because of unjust things happening.
Sure.
People being taken advantage of. And I saw that as a way to fuel that going to law school.
Yeah.
And
you
learning
have
about
like
law.
a natural bent. I think he loves getting to the bottom of things. He loves fighting for justice. He loves.
I mean, I had three or
Ever
four.
since you were in like high school, you had thought about going to law school.
Yeah, and 3 or 4 of my professors in undergrad were attorneys. Like my tax law professor.
He's an accountant.
Yeah, in my accounting training, our tax law professor was an attorney, a tax attorney, and our business law professor was an attorney. So like, I already had teachers like that. But anyway, it was something that I saw if the Lord's going to close the door on missions, that maybe He's directing us to go in that way and to direct that passion in that direction.
Wow. And how was that? It's intense, I'd imagine, because, we were
watched
in
Suits,
a small.
brother. We know.
Yes.
We've seen Suits.
Harvey Specter.
We get your life.
So yeah, it's interesting though, because this is not a parallel exactly, but like seminary. You're in seminary he was in seminary for 3 years. You did some seminary stuff too before that. So you guys have done a lot of the studies, and it's very hard. It's it's an exhausting
Hard
track.
for the wives.
Hard for the wives, hard for the kids, family. But how did you guys navigate that? Because it takes a lot of time, a lot of prayer, a lot of effort. Like you guys realizing you're a team as a family, although it takes a lot of time away. So how did you guys walk through that in the season with littles, with the challenges you were walking through even in that season?
I think we were introduced to it from the very beginning because before we ever got married, I was in seminary. My mom had cancer. I was working full time as a tax accountant at the same time, and we were planning an engagement. So all that was happening simultaneously, and that's basically how we started our relationship.
And then once he decided to go to law school and we really felt like that's what we were supposed to do, it was really a family commitment at that point where we tried to make the most of the days and be around as much as possible. So I was also really encouraged by some of his professors. There was one guy in particular, Professor Brill, Howard Brill, shout out, who he would see me walking the kids into the University of Arkansas Law School with a stroller and 2 kids at the time. And he would be like, how are you, Mrs. Dillard? And like, oh, like, how are the boys? You know, and make sure he would tell me, and he would tell you
every
too.
student at the University of Arkansas by name. Every single
and
student.
he would tell Derick, make sure you're spending enough family time. Like, make sure you're taking care of your family. You know, he's like, I know you have to study, but
he would see me in the library and tell me to go home. He's like, you're here past 5. You need to go home, be with your family.
he's like, be with your family. Like, he was really good at.
He knew every student where they were from, even.
Yeah, he was
every
like
single student, like their high school mascot. He knew every one of their high school mascots.
Oh, that's
he was just a very dedicated,
He's very passionate. He
professor.
taught with Bill Clinton whenever he was at the law school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So he's been there a minute.
and Hillary too.
He's been
Hillary.
They both have their room
Yeah.
there. Anyway,
But he's been teaching there for over 50 years now.
he was great. So but we tried to make the most of those moments too, where anytime that I could, I would take the boys down to the law school, take lunch, meet Derick for lunch if we could. We lived 30 minutes from the law school, so it was not easy to just like pop over. But we did try and make that happen. And then COVID hit and everything shut down. So then he was online. We moved during that time. Yeah, so we tried to like navigate all of that. And
As if it wasn't already stressful enough. Just let's throw a move in there.
yeah.
You know, move.
And then if you were studying from home, I'd imagine that's also a challenge because like we had, you know, even in seminary, there were times where, you know, Jared he would come back from being in classes and then he would spend time with us. And then we would
Put the kids to bed.
Put the kids to bed. And often he would stay up because he wanted to spend time with me. So we'd stay up, spend time together. And then once I went to bed, he'd stay up for a couple more hours and then wake up super early.
Yeah, that's what he was
and do
doing.
that too. So
And then they
We didn't
have
have locks on the doors. Like no locks on the doors. And we had
what?
on our house that we lived in, like my
the
office.
duplex?
At the house after that.
Yeah.
Studying for the bar with a 1 and 3-year-old with no locks on the doors. Like,
coming
it's
in all the
almost
time.
Impossible. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Oh, my
come in on
goodness,
their own
yeah.
it's hard to study when they're there because you don't want to say like, oh, go out. I need to work.
Yeah.
But like you have to study.
Yeah.
Yeah. It did make things challenging. And so, yeah,
But you did it. You're done.
he's done.
So now-
yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Pass the bar with flying colors, or what? Do you pass bars with flying colors?
Yeah. Every
He's
every
licensed
state.
in
Okay.
I mean, not
Arkansas.
licensed in every state, but you get a score high enough, you could be licensed in every state.
Wow.
That's great.
But anyway.
Well done. That's
Thank you.
crazy.
Yeah.
So then you have gone into work as a lawyer. I know you've taken some time away, right? To take a break from work for a little bit.
Catch your breath after
Catch
all
your
that
breath.
marathon.
Was it just like a torrid pace, like study, school, enter the workforce?
Well, I think things got to, like, it reached a fever pitch last December. It was probably like our worst month in our family's history. Like, if not close to it. Maybe I'm not going to go out on a limb and say the worst, but like one of the worst. And Jill was like, hey, something's got to change.
Yeah.
And we had a lot going on with the loss that we had experienced earlier last year.
Yeah. So Derick finished law school. He graduated, became a lawyer, and was working full time in Oklahoma. His commute time was really long and hard, on top of the hours that he was putting in at work and bringing cases home to work on and all of that. So one thing about public service is like it can be pretty grueling, and so the pay doesn't. Like, you get a lot of great experience, and that's what he wanted to really make a difference. And you still love the work,
I very much enjoyed it. You get a lot of trial experience.
but the volume is just really, really intense, and there's a lot of turnover just because of that, where it's very grueling, and so you're making a big difference, but it is very intense, and the hours are long, and
very rewarding work for sure.
yeah. So, but then on top of that, he had a really long commute. So when he started in that position, it was a 4-county district. He was in the county that was closest to us, which was about 40 minutes away. But then as time went on and they shifted people around into the other areas, sometimes he was driving further to where finally, like consistently.
2 years later, I moved
for 2 years.
To Tahlequah, which was an hour
and a half if you had to pick up the car. So it was like an hour and a half one way. He would go to his original district or county. Anyway, it ended up being a really long drive. So that added to just the overall stress.
We want to take a break from this episode to tell you about Omaha Steaks.
I got to be honest with you and with you, Jinger. I love recording this podcast with you.
I love recording this podcast with you.
One of the downsides is sometimes when we record it, it's our lunchtime.
It is our lunchtime, like
And
right now.
I'm starving.
Same.
And all I'm thinking about is Omaha steaks.
Same.
I mean, I know exactly where they are in the freezer downstairs. We've got 3 steaks, 2 patties. I am ready to get that puppy on the grill. Omaha steaks delivered to your door. I think the advert could be over. Just eat Omaha steaks. It's the best.
Yeah, their grass-fed, grain-finished beef has more marbling for exceptional flavor and is the choice of steakhouses and professional chefs around the world. That's incredible. And it can be brought and shipped right to your door.
Yeah, so go to omahasteaks.com. Use code GINGER at checkout. You'll get a big discount. omahasteaks.com. Use code GINGER at checkout. You don't want to miss this.
Now back to the episode.
Well, then we had
I mean, I didn't live
in
at
the
home. I went home to sleep, basically. I left before
Yeah.
the sun came up, and I got home after dark, after the boys
That's
were in bed.
so
it
Like,
was really, really hard. And then trial season and all of that, even if you have vacation time, it was hard to like take off 1 day here, 2 days there. So
You
Yeah,
know,
it's
I
just
said
a lot.
kiddingly, like, we've watched Suits, so we get it. But in all seriousness, like, you know, a show like that does have some reflection of real life. But I've got friends who are lawyers as well. And just having lived in New York City, there are certain fields where you see people who are very successful. They're making an incredible difference, but there's often sacrifice. And sometimes, I don't know how you'd answer this, but like, I think it could be hard to discern the line because you're in a field where the cases aren't going to slow down. There's not like a judge isn't like, you know what, let's give the lawyers a week off. You know, stuff is constantly happening. And it could be hard to, or it could be easy to get lost in that and just keep going and going and going and going and going. And it's something you're passionate about, but then to balance other aspects of life. And so often people sacrifice family to be the greatest lawyer in the nation or something. And it doesn't mean you can't be great and effective without family. So I'm not painting a broad brush, but
you have to know what your overall family
Yes.
goal is. I think you have to keep that in focus.
you have
whatever
to
that
be
is.
called as a family,
Yeah.
and I mean, really as a couple. But then everything's for a season, also. Like
Yes.
what's
Yes.
good in one season might not necessarily be
Yeah.
good in another season.
Correct. So like law school, that's not maintainable for like forever, but that's also for a season.
you know, the problem is sometimes in law school, you can build habits on studying for the season, but then it's a habit that you take out of that season as well.
But I know, like, you're prohibited from having any job, even part time, like when you start law school. Like they said, I don't remember if we may have even signed
You
something.
did.
Wow.
Yeah, you had
The
to sign
first
something
year.
saying you will not do
The first
anything.
year.
The first year, you will not do anything. Like every waking breath needs to be focused here.
Well, in the curve, everything's graded on a curve throughout law school. So like the curve is set lower for
First year.
first year. So like is it set lower?
Well,
I'm like, wait, it's set at
it's lower.
I was like, it's at a,
I had
whatever.
a legal research and writing class, and the professor basically, this has nothing to do with anything, but like, you all did excellent. Everyone here did really great, but I have to give half of you a B- or lower. So basically,
And then if you get lower than this, then you get put on probation. Like, so it's always this competition
it's
throughout the entire law school.
very cutthroat.
So he said himself in that one, it was like, he was like, everybody in this class this year was like, the majority of the people were better than the year before. But like, it was like,
You go to the library and
The
see what
crazy-
grades specific professors gave. And this teacher the year before gave 1 A-, and the rest were all below that. So.
Wow.
anyway, so it's just, like to your point, it's like setting you up for like figuring out how the career is going to work and all of that. And so
Because there is a winner and a loser, even if you both do your best in real life, there's a winner and a loser. That's the thing about
court
professional.
cases, whatever.
That's so hard.
Yeah. So we knew that the transition from law school into the career that we felt called to, public service, was going to be hard as well, because there's that initial period of time where you do have to put in that work. And so that's like really grueling and just the learning curve. It really is a learning curve.
And I
but they
think
don't teach you in law school.
sometimes I'm hard-headed and I don't always pick up cues like I should, but we lost Isla in March 2024. It was difficult, and I couldn't take off like that much time because we had a lot going on that I'd been the one to prepare for. Someone just can't come in and step in. And I just kind of kept on going, and we were both grieving. But
You
in
were
different
definitely
ways.
trying, though.
I was trying. I was trying my.
He was trying as much as he could.
Trying my very best.
Well, and we had just come off. The other hard part was we had just come out of, and I know we'll talk about this in another episode probably, but we had just come out of a whole season where my first trimester, I'm sick. Like I'm laid up in bed and I can't go and do. So we were already coming out of that where it's like, okay, we're about to, be past this. I just started feeling better. And then to lose the baby and in pregnancy in the second trimester, and then
the boys weren't
now
reset because she was laid up in bed.
Yeah. So it just kind of things just came apart.
Yeah.
Unraveling. And basically I'm like, okay, well, let's just keep going. And then it just kind of got worse from then until December.
Which I think is a natural tendency to throw yourself into the only thing that you can control is to if you're just, well, this is the one thing I can just keep together is work. And I've heard that for people in general, anytime you're in turmoil or loss or whatever, trying to control the one thing that you can. I think guys, maybe, I don't know, you can tell me, tend to lean into work or whatever. And it wasn't bad. You definitely were trying your best to show up and he would come home and take over. I would be like, I can't manage anything. But all that to say, it got to where I would be calling him at work and just a few times and be like, babe, I need help. I need you to talk to the boys about this or that. And he would take a minute if he could, but I also was like, I've waited to call until now because, I know that you're at work. And so I think we had a good understanding of marriage and kids and relationship, but it just got really, really tough to the point where I was crying every single day. And he was stressed because he's like, I'm torn. I want to be there, but I don't feel like I can, like you were saying, take a step back. Once you're already in the job that you're in, it's hard to step back in that same role. So we needed to just step away from that job and make a clean break at that point.
Because it got really bad by December. To
the point where he was doing a great job at work. We were managing, but it wasn't going to be sustainable. Yeah. And we saw that thankfully, before it got too late and too far in, where even whenever you went in to tell your boss that you were going to be leaving, he was like, what about this? What about that? They wanted him to stay. What about 3 days a week? What about this? Trying to work it. He's like, take this home to Jill and talk about it.
He said, take this home to Jill. He wrote down different schedules. And I was like, this is still, and then you wonder, not that somebody would hope that this would happen, but it would start out one way and then gradually you're
we both understood. We're no, they know the expectation.
Right? It's there's a lot of work that you have to do. Yeah. You're asked to do, and you don't want to say no, probably if you're that's your boss.
Yeah.
You kind of almost need to. So
it was easier to make a clean break at that point and just kind of step away.
It's awesome, Derick, that you're willing to do that because that's really tough. You're seeing her pain.
Of wrestling with that, and then it got to the point where she's like, we got to do something different. Yeah.
And you did too. I think it was just we both needed.
Yeah, we made the decision together.
We were realizing not just with the loss of Isla, but also just our family goals and where we were headed as a family. We wanted to, this has been our goal all along, to be intentional with our kids. And so we were realizing this is God directing us in this way to step away from this job. It'll always be there. They're hey, if he wants to go back to that job,
people
they would.
You'll be back. You see.
Yeah. But
interesting that there's so many threats to marriage and to our families. When we get married, we think we have an idea of what life is going to look like, and we think, oh, this will be easy. And then we sometimes see outside people, especially in the spotlight, oh, those could threaten our family, but we bunker down. And then you realize when life actually happens and it's not just theoretical, life is hard. And all of these little things become these like threats to our family. Like you just said, well, we have family goals and we want to be intentional with our kids. And then you get to a place and realize, wait, this isn't happening. And it can be really difficult to figure out, how do we solve that? Did you guys feel, you're speaking with such clarity now and like objectivity, but I imagine in the moment you might not have seen it so clearly of like, this is what we need to do. He needs to step back. This is how I'm feeling.
There were certain things that were more objective about, specifically because we tried to make it happen before getting to this step, because we tried with our therapist we had up until that point to do therapy, because we didn't really get a chance to properly grieve after we lost Isla.
We wanted to go. So that was one thing. We have seen a therapist at different points in our marriage just to for whatever reason. And it's really, really helpful. But we had wanted to go. Derick, you had even suggested, hey, like, what if we see our therapist? And we had reached out to our regular therapist. And I think we'd seen him like once or twice. But it was really tricky.
Any solution we could without just like leaving.
Yeah, but even that was interesting because so Derick was working in Oklahoma. We lived in Arkansas, and I was at home with kids. And ever since COVID, like there's been a lot of availability for therapists online, but Derick couldn't make it work with where he was working in Oklahoma. We had to be like, for whatever reason, with the laws and all of it, with our therapist. Yeah. We both had to be in the same state at the same time for the therapy thing. So we couldn't work, like we either both had to be in Oklahoma
and be talking.
Yeah. It was
I would have to commute an hour away because once you leave our house and go 5 minutes, you're in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So like I would have to do the majority of my
Or
drive
I would have to go to Oklahoma and with kids and home. It just wasn't going to work. So we couldn't even, unless I wanted to see the therapist by myself and him by himself or whatever, which at this time we were like, we really want to like make the most of it. If we're paying money, like we want to like make it work. Anyway,
he's like,
it was another hurdle that just wasn't working.
He's like, unless you're both in the same state, I can't see you. Like,
so things like that we were feeling like there are needs that we need to be able to work out. And then logistically, like trying to schedule an hour into our day, literally for once a week therapy, wasn't even manageable at that time because we didn't have an hour a week to be able to both come together and do a therapy session every week. So with childcare or whatever. So,
But all that to say, like I feel like by this point we'd been married long enough, like 11 and a half years to like know that like what the problem is and trying to address it.
Yeah.
Whereas we might've not been to that point 10 years ago or something.
Yeah. I think we'd been through enough hardships together to kind of learn like, okay, when it comes down to it, you've got to just like make the decision. And I think Derick really kind of took the reins on that whenever he could see that I was just like, something's got to change.
Like, and I was like, this is not good.
He was like, this is what we're going to do. And wow.
Speaking of those challenges, so many of them have been public, right? And you've lived your life so publicly. And I remember I don't know if I even knew who you guys were. I remember seeing a magazine cover with you in the hospital holding Israel. Must have been Israel.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, because we didn't do it with...
It was like People magazine or something. And you were, this mother just delivered your baby on the cover of a huge tabloid. Is that what People's call it? Or is it just a...
I think it's maybe not a tabloid. People, maybe
it's a
proper...
I think
a news magazine.
Full magazine.
I don't know.
realm of tabloid, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's the magazine racks at Walmart right there.
Yeah. Where I go to get my news usually.
And I remember seeing that. And now, like, knowing you, now I'm in the family. We're co-brothers, brother. And
you got to throw that term around. You got a lot of co-brothers.
I love it.
You can start calling everybody co-brother.
Oh, I love it. But you've faced so many challenges. The very public trial of your brother. You've written a book, and there have been tensions with that, like that you talk about, right? In the book, the loss of Isla and just life, like what you're sharing here with us about jobs and all these things. Coming out of that and looking back now, how have those things shaped you? Who would you say, Jill Dillard is today as you look back?
I would say I'm a lot stronger now as a person and an individual. Nobody's arrived. Like, I don't think I've arrived. I think we should always be on a path toward growth and finding who God wants us to be as we change and develop and are hit with crap. Like, I think that's part of the journey of being a Christian, is just seeking God. This is cliche, but seeking God in everything that comes your way. And sometimes it's going to knock you down, like with the loss of Isla, or things like you're saying in the tabloids and all of the stuff that just, it will knock you down sometimes. But then that's whenever you just have to really like cry out to God for the strength to get through it, because we haven't even, I think part of it too is like being one of the older kids in the Duggar family, like number 4, the first daughter to get married. That probably brought its own challenges with it. Everybody faces their own challenges. Y'all have walked through things that you were the first in as a married couple in the Duggar family. But I think it has made me stronger because we've chosen to seek God and join forces as a couple.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interject there. I was just inspired by what you said, because you said it's made me stronger, and then immediately referenced seeking God, which is an act of faith and a declaration of your weak dependence. It's like this, I'm stronger now because I've sought God through all of these things.
Well, and God sought us because, like, honestly, there have been for both of us. I mean, when you lost your dad and everything, I think like there have always been moments where when everything falls apart, that you don't have the strength, you're not strong. People will tell you, oh, you're so strong. And you're like, I don't feel it at all. Where you're just, God, how am I going to make this? How are we going to make it through? How are we going to take another step, live another day, whatever? And you just cling to those Bible verses, literally writing them on. I like to Sharpie things on my hand as I'm busy throughout the day. Sometimes I'll plaster sticky notes everywhere, but I'll write Bible verses like on my wrist or whatever, just so that way I can be reminded of the truth of God's word as I go about the day. Just having it there. And
I was going to ask you what you had there, but it might say get milk later.
He heard my voice. Psalm 18:6.
So it's always a Bible verse.
Usually. Sometimes it's an inspirational quote, but I'll just write, like, because this one is from Psalms, like yesterday, like, I cried to him, he heard my voice from his temple. Like those things, like just reminding myself, like whatever it is that I'm going through, whatever it is, just writing it somewhere. And I like this because I can change it out, it wears off.
It's not a permanent tattoo right now.
Yeah, I can just change it out. And
like Scripture says, you're going to put Scripture everywhere around your house, on your doorposts, wherever you're going to be going throughout your day.
And I really started doing more of that. I mean, I've done it before, but especially in the loss of Isla, I really would write lots of Scripture all over my hands and stuff, just because I needed that reminder, that focus, something to focus on. And I think about, as a trained midwife and like women in labor, we're always telling them like, focus on this. Like you can get through this one contraction. Like, just focus on this one thing. So like, it's a focus point, like something to focus on. Anyway, random tidbit.
That's so sweet.
That's a long answer. I feel like my answers are super long.
No, that's good. Really good. That's
You're so honest and open. Are you excited about the future? Are you looking forward to, do you feel hopeful in this season?
Yes. I mean, I feel like we have hope.
I thought it was more than a yes or no question, but please explain. Usually,
I feel like the older you get, though, and the more life you've lived, it's kind of, you have hope with some apprehension, where ignorance really is bliss, where you have like, when you're young and carefree, and not that we're old, but like
old souls.
But when you've lived like life, and life throws hard things at you, you can live with hope for the future, but some apprehension as far as like, okay, like what's going to be, like they say, like you're coming out of a trial or going into one. But when you have,
I feel like the further along I don't know if you were stopping or I was cutting you off, but
it's good. We read each other's minds.
Yeah, I already know what she's talking about. But basically, like whenever you get to a certain point, like I feel like sometimes you just want to do things more quickly. You just get to the point. That could be in communication. That could be in like some of the questions we were discussing before that we're going to address on this podcast, like with, and I know this isn't the question right now, but it's kind of related to it. But when we're having a disagreement, we just get straight to it.
Oh yeah, you asked one of the
you asked like
questions.
how do you address issues now differently than you did 10
has
years
a couple
ago?
like disagreements or something.
And part of that has to do with like where you're at now and how you've changed and what you're and how your perception of the future would be different versus what it would be before.
There's a really hopeful optimism when you're first starting out.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. Like to this day, we've been married 9 years and I still despise people going like, oh, the first year, it's going to get tough after that. Or life is hard. Life has been hard. Ginger and I were just talking about last night, certain challenges we're facing, but life is good and life together is great. Like we wouldn't want to be doing this apart from one another. And so even though there have been threats to our marriage and assaults on our marriage and trials, it's brought us closer, even in times where you realize like, oh, we're drifting, like our conversation isn't what it should be, or we're not taking time, or we're not being sensitive to one another. The healing of that brings you closer because it makes you, weld it again and say, oh, it's getting loose. Let's get tighter here. As you guys look at how life has changed in marriage, I'm sure you could tell young Jill, young Derick,
I have something about this. Okay. Early on in our marriage, you know how people always giving you advice, kind of like we gave y'all. But I hate it when people say, they're like, oh, I've never had a fight with, great for them. Okay. But like, you've never had a fight with my spouse and I've been married this. I'm like, they are either lying or they don't talk to their spouse. Like, it's just, you are going to have disagreements with people no matter how much you love them and you're hopefully going to work it out. But early on, somebody told me this piece of marriage advice. They were like, just think about anything that like you're fighting about or that you don't like that your spouse does. Think about it as cute. And that'll help you change your perception of the thing and help you get over it. And so we're doing that early on in our, really early on in our marriage. And it was something, I think you were like loading the dishwasher and something. I don't remember about if it was the dishwasher or something you said or did. And I was like, oh, that's cute or something. And then Derick was like, you're just saying that because you think it's not cute. And he like read right through it right away. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I don't like that when you do this or that. And you're just like faking it almost.
Yep.
And so that does not work for us. Maybe it works for other people. Yes, you can try and help yourself get over things and overcome things. Yeah. But
there's I just looked up what you made or what you said made me think of this. I heard it years ago. And it's funny because I've actually thought about that often. Like the things that annoy us, if our partner, if my wife was to pass away or not be with me, those are the things I'd miss. Mm-hmm. And here's the quote, ready for it? When my wife was alive, she used to fart in her sleep. It annoyed me. Now she's gone, and I'd give anything to be annoyed by it again. Mm. And there's something like that's really memorable because it's so profound. Mm-hmm. The things that we can just be like, oh, you do this or you do that. Or in your head, you're thinking, oh, not again. Even with our kids. Mm-hmm. Like, I think about it often with the kids where I'm just like, stop it. It's the noise. Just want quiet. Or if the Lord were to take those kids, all you would want is a house filled with chaos where these kids, are punching each other and you've got to run, grab Samuel and pull him off Israel. And like, that's all you'd want. It's all you'd think about. Mm-hmm. And we do allow things like little things to bother us. Mm-hmm. And we get just so lost in the moment. Like, well, I've got to get there on time and I've got to do this. And it's helpful to zoom out and say, well, hold on a second. Like, what am I trampling in order to, you think of those, it doesn't happen so much anymore because of online shopper, but remember when Black Friday would come and shoppers would like get seriously injured or killed from the stampedes. And you go, with some objectivity, you'd think, would I really step on that woman's face and her end up passing away to grab that $30 toy? Like the folly of it, right? But sometimes that's us in life. Like, I've got to be to the dentist appointment. I can't be 12 minutes late. So I'm going to step on my child. I'm going to be derogatory to them, be mean to them, tell them to be quiet, be annoyed by them so that I'm not 12 minutes late to the dentist. And we lose that objectivity all the time.
Yeah, I think perspective is the key word there, because certainly, like, first of all, farting in your sleep, you can't even control that. So, like, you can't expect them to change that. But then something that someone can change, like, while you're with them, like, you obviously would rather them in any state versus being without them. Like, you would rather them as a, unconscious in a coma versus being without them. So I think it's just compared to my kids doing what they're supposed to and not doing what they're supposed to. I would obviously rather them do what they're supposed to, but if it's between them being gone and then not doing what they're supposed to, obviously I would rather have that. But I think it's just like everything's relative.
Yeah.
Which I think you have that perspective too. You're always good at like thinking. I think it hits close to home for you, having lost your dad when you were somewhat young, and like that is always in the back of your mind.
That must have made you grow up quicker.
Yeah, I think it changed a lot, especially during that season of life. And but it helped me think of things in terms of whether or not I regretted anything, because a lot of people think about things through the lens of regret. And my dad and I didn't always have the best relationship, but I don't regret the things that I did or said because they needed to be done or said. Like, if I was having a tough conversation with my child, like, they might be upset at me, and I would, they would rather me take them to get ice cream, but I wouldn't regret having taken the time to be difficult with it. Like, not difficult, but like have a hard conversation versus taking them to get ice cream. So,
and then take them to ice cream stand.
And
That's tough, but that's the love and the care that they need.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes I think we just have to be careful and not be manipulative, because some people would say, well, think about how short life is, and then to try and get someone to do what they want them to do, and say, like, I would still do what I'm going to do even if I knew that the world was going to end next week. Like,
Well, that's when you're living with integrity and principle. So when you go, like, being informed by, and that's why Christianity is so beautiful, because we're living in light of eternity every day.
Yeah.
So this light momentary affliction is preparing for me an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison, Paul says to the Corinthians. And he's every day going, heaven's coming, which means it doesn't mean he's not going to do mundane tasks. It doesn't lead him to be a monk out in the woods. It leads him to exhort people, love people, care for people, laugh, cry, preach, fall asleep, wake up, eat breakfast. But there's a principled integrity to knowing eternity's coming. And so what you're saying is some people can get emotional and they're like on this roller coaster of like, oh, I just want to value my kids. So just, candy corn and ice cream and Disney. You go, no, that's not going to set them up for the next 70 years that God might give them. But having an objectivity of like, hey, I want to love them like there's no tomorrow will allow you to love them principally and one another, and it'll shape how you live your life individually before God.
Yeah.
You guys are so real, so open. We love you guys. So excited for this opportunity to sit down with you. We want to get into some more stuff. So we want to have another conversation with you soon, because I think there's more to your story, Jill and Derick, that will be really encouraging and helpful to our listeners, especially around this idea of, working through pain and difficulty and tough times. But thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for sitting down.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, thank you
It's been a
guys.
lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
All right, guys, we will we'll check back with you in a week. So stay tuned, like, subscribe, do all those things, and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and you'll get some behind the scenes stuff, some shorts. Yeah, excited for next week's episode. We'll see you soon.